Welcome to Vyapar, a show where we explore the journeys of entrepreneurs and the businesses that they've built. I'm your host, Sid, and joining me this week is Chintan Mehta, founder of The Comic Store, a brand which is spearheading innovation in home decor. I'm no design expert and I actually have no clue about home decoration, but when I was going through their website, I found designs that I've not seen before, like truly innovative. It's not common. I think it's very unique in what they're doing, the designs. To give you an example, I actually saw a clock that was made from concrete. So that should give you some idea as to the level of creativity and innovations that brewing at the comic store. And one of the highlights when I first spoke to Chintan was his laid back personality. So I was attacking him with questions right and left, but he had all the answers with him. So, that's something I really like in a founder when he knows everything about his business. Also, just before we get into the trenches, this episode is special also because I have my dear friend Gaurav with me. The first time that we have a co host for Vyapar. So, Gaurav, I want to carry this forward with you. And the one thing that I really like about Gaurav is his work ethic. The guy is a research machine. Also, he understands a lot about marketing and design far better than me. So, he would be a very good person to host the show. He'll probably take over the hosting duties from me someday. Probably. Let's see how that goes. All right, guys, let's get into it. Chintan, a very warm welcome to you. Really excited to have you on the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to, let people know about our store. And thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, Siddharth, for, giving us this opportunity to, share a few things which generally when a customer orders on the website, they don't know about the company. So this gives us an opportunity, a venue to share the behind the scenes things.
Definitely, definitely. And, I want to kickstart this episode with the most essential question. How did you come up with the idea of starting the comic store? Because if I'm not wrong, this is not the first business that you've started. You've already had a few business verticals operating before you started the comic store. So tell us something about your background, how you got into designing, how you started your first business, and then how you came up with the idea, let's start something in home decor. Let's start the comic store. So tell us something about that.
Right. So, I started my career back in 2009, right after, completing my high school. And I joined this IT firm which was into gifting. So before that, I never had any idea that people could buy stuff online because back then we did not have Flipkart, we did not have Amazon in India. So
Hmm.
that was something new for me. That was something refreshing, and that got me excited that this is another venue from where people can buy and they can buy from any corner of the world. So I worked in that company for almost 5 years, and I gained a
Hmm.
lot of experience from there. I then switched a few other jobs, few summer jobs and stuff. But then one fine day, I decided that it's high time that I should start something on my own because I've had, almost 8, 9 years of experience in this industry. So I started off with selling phone covers and, coffee mugs, t-shirts and stuff. Those are basically called sublimation products, and the raw materials come from China. So that business started off pretty well. We were doing very good for the first couple of years. We were one of the leading suppliers in India in that particular category. And even when we were doing that, the designs that we had, those were not available in India. We were the ones who brought those refreshing designs and new concepts in those things. But last year, when COVID hit everyone, the supply stopped coming from China, and we had to think of an alternative because if we wanted to continue with that business, we did not have any option because the supplies were not coming from China.
Hmm.
So then we thought, what's the next thing that we can do? And home designing, interior designing. I'm not an expert in that industry, but that is something that has always. It's like a magnet, it pulls me towards it. So designing is something that I'm always looking for, something new in the market. So I always had this idea of doing something in home decor, but I never had the time to do it
Hmm.
because I was so occupied with the sublimation products. But because of COVID, 3 months of lockdown, I had 24 hours in my hand doing nothing at home. So, I started doing research and sitting with my designer how we should go about it, what are the kind of designs that we can do. In April, 4th of April, we launched the website, the comic store, and we started taking orders. But as you know, during lockdown, deliveries were not possible.
Hmm.
So, because, we might as well try if see if at least if we're not getting orders, but even if we are getting some, good feedback from the customers, so that would help us in making changes to the products or, bringing in new designs. And more than the orders, I feel, you should always listen to your customers, what they're looking for. So that is how this idea came up.
So one of the
Mm.
interesting things, obviously, when we first spoke to you, was you told us how you started this business right at the thick of the pandemic, like just when the pandemic was
Right.
beginning. That's when you started the business, and this was a point when most businesses were shutting their shop. How was the experience of starting a business during a pandemic? And how was the response, the initial response that you got from the customers? Because you were not able to, like, you must be having a lot of logistical problems, right? Like April, May was the time when people just lost their shit. Things were going down at that time. So tell me about that experience of starting a business right in the middle of a pandemic. How was that for you?
Yeah. So as I said, when COVID came into India, when lockdown was implemented, the biggest concern for every person running a business was how to carry out the office expenses and the salary for the people, right? Because everyone was in need of money at that time.
Hmm.
So even we were on the verge of shutting down if we would have continued with the old business. But I always believe, that there's a certain sense of responsibility towards the people working for me, and I'm liable to bear the expenses that they have on their day-to-day basis in their lives. So I had to come up with something new. There was no other option left. And when we started, we were very sure that we are not going to get a humongous number of orders because deliveries were not happening, logistics was shut, only essentials were happening. I had an option, also because I saw a lot of other websites started selling sanitizers and face masks and everything, but I did not want
Yeah.
to do that.
Hmm.
I wanted to do something which would also sustain post-COVID, because if you see right now, I mean, there's hardly anyone buying face masks and sanitizers
Yeah.
as the same number as they were buying during pandemic. So when we started, we were sure we are not going to get, large number of orders. We just wanted customer feedback. We wanted engagement on our social media pages.
Hmm.
And we tried to run a campaign then that, we have these many people working for us. And we would be very grateful if people would support us and, place an order, which we will surely deliver post pandemic. But we just needed those funds to run
Hmm.
the daily expenses and the salary of the people that were working for us. So we had this campaign known as Survive, and we asked people to support us. And I'm very grateful to the people who ordered during that time because they were sure that 2, 3 months down the line, deliveries are not going to happen.
Hmm.
But we did receive a good number of orders, which helped us, carry out all the expenses for from March till June.
Wow.
So we had a pretty good response because of that campaign. That people had that emotional connect with us, that because there was a segment of people who were not getting their salaries, but we also have a segment of people in India who have surplus funds with them. So
Hmm.
those were the type of people who ordered with us. They supported us, and I would also like to say that there were many people who did not want to order, but they said that we'll send you a certain sum of money. You can give us a gift card. If we ever need it in future, we'll order. Otherwise, you can keep the funds with you. So we had those kind of supporters as well.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Very well said, Chintan, that people always come before the business, and the concept that you launched, the campaign that you launched earlier, like Survive, it's very well worked for you. So, coming to the next question, I want to ask, how does this entire concept work? I mean, say for a customer orders some A product from your website, then what happens in the back end, and what are the entire procedure from where start from designing to actual delivery product?
Right. So the USP, I would say, of every businesses that I've done and I'm doing is that we offer complete customization on any product that you see on the website. I'll give you an example of a clock. So say, for example, you want to order a wall clock on our website. The basic design that you see is in black color. but maybe that does not match with the scheme of the color of your house. So you want to customize it into some other color, right?
Right.
So we can do that
Right.
for you. So every item that you see on the website, it is made to order basis, which means that we start making the product from scratch after you place an order with us. So say for
Mm.
example, you've ordered a clock and you've let us know this is the customization that I want on my product. Maybe it's regard to size, it's regards to the color, whatever it is. So then
Mm.
our designing team starts working on the project. We make a dice for that product and then we send it to the laser cutting machine where the product is cut into its shape and size. And
Mhm.
then the polishing and the painting job is done. That takes at least 4 to 5 days because we have to apply a certain number of coats of paint and let it dry. We have to leave it for a
Right.
certain number of hours, otherwise it affects the overall quality of the product. And
Mhm.
then the assembly is done. So even with regards to the clock, I would say that the machines that we use, the clock hands that we use, those are made by us.
Great.
So the assembly is done, and then it goes to the quality checking team where it's checked whether it's of best quality or not. If there's a problem with the product, then we start making it again from scratch because we don't want to give something to the customer which is of bad quality. So once the quality check is done, it's in for packaging, and then the logistics picks it up from our office and it's sent across for the delivery.
Hmm. So how long does it take, like from the designing to the delivery of the product? Like on an average, how long does it take for the product to be ready and be delivered and to reach to the customer?
Right. So for an average product like a wall hanging or a wall clock, it takes approximately 20 working days, which comes to a month, including the transit time for the delivery. And for wooden items or the concrete items that you see on our website, it takes 2 to 3 months to make this because it's a lengthy process and it takes time to go through each and every process. We don't want to compromise on quality and rush into things and try to make it ASAP and send it to the customer
Hmm.
and think that our
Right.
responsibility is over then. We want to give something that they would cherish for a certain number of years because they are investing a good amount of money into that product. So we want to give them that quality and satisfaction.
Right. Right. So how does the delivery work for your product? I mean, I remember that we talked, you told me that you have a separate, I mean, you have tie up with some company for who handling your delivery pan India level. So tell me about something about that, Elvis.
Right. So with regards to logistics, I see a lot of companies opting for specific courier partners. Leading logistic partners in India are FedEx, Delivery, and
Right. Right.
Express Bees, Ecom Express.
Hmm.
But we don't want to rely on a single courier partner. So we have partnered up with ShipRocket, which
Okay.
gives us an option of almost 20 plus shipping partners, and we can select which is the fastest or which is the most reliable and give
Great.
the product to them to deliver the product to the customer. So we partnered with ShipRocket. We have a partnership of over 3 years now with them, and we are quite happy with the service that they provide.
Great. So my next question is basically how do you differentiate yourself with other brands and other companies who are on this home decor and interior designing segment? Because I mean, if we can see that interior designing and home decor is a very ultra competitive space. So can you give me some examples of your some of your product which are uniquely designed and which can be definitely found at the comic store?
Right. So as you said, interior designing or home decor is a very competitive market, especially online with a lot of big players already there in the market. But our
Yeah,
motto always has been, offering product customization to everyone because not every person is same and what you want or what you like, the others might not like. So our motto is always to give
definitely.
customization options and we always try to, bring in products that are not there in the market, whether it's regards to the design or whether it's regards to the look of the product. So the uniqueness or the different thing that we have with regards to competitors is, especially I would like to mention our wall clocks because those are our best sellers and that is what people are always looking for. So the kind of wall clocks
Mhm.
that we sell, they are not basic or they are not boring. I mean, to be very honest with you, the kind of clocks that are available in the market are very boring. I go to a shop, I
Right,
see a
right.
clock. Maybe I'll get a different shape or a different, maybe a different design, but it's generally round or square
Still the
or coming
same.
with a
Yeah.
pendulum with a glass on top. But the
Hmm.
product that we sell, the kind of wall clocks that we sell, you can touch and feel the product. You can feel the hands. And When we deliver a wall clock, we give the customer an opportunity to install it and assemble it. So, the
Wow.
machines are sent separate, the hands are sent separate. So it gives him that feeling that, he has also contributed in making the product.
Right.
So we don't have any clock that comes with a glass top. Every clock that we have on the website, the customer can feel each and every part of that product, and they can see how much effort has gone into making that product. It's very raw, I would say. All our designs are very raw. You can see each and every part, you can see the intricate designs that are there in the product. So that, separates us from the people that are there in the market. And especially our designs, I would like to, give a big hand to my graphic designer. He helps me a lot in making these designs and, converting my ideas into reality.
How do you come, like, so
Okay.
my question is, I was just wondering, how do you, like, let's say you're designing something unique, something innovative, so how do you come with the idea, let's try something out, because I think you're also like developing something called a concrete wristwatch, which is something like I've not even heard about a concrete clock in the first place, which you've already developed. Now you're developing a
Mhm.
concrete wristwatch. So what is the thought process behind it? Like, how do you, get your creative juices in flow? And like, is there some thought process that goes behind it, like some sort of strategy brainstorming that happens before you actually come out with the product? How does that work out?
I've been very lucky with, when it comes to bringing in new ideas because I always see what's there around me, even when going out or traveling to work and coming back, I see what's there around me. If I'm
Hmm.
going by the car, I'll see what's there. If
Mhm.
there's a poster on the wall, if there's a hanging on the wall, I'll see what it is made of and whether I can make something out of it or not. So that's the kind of thing, that inspires me, seeing things around us. Maybe I'm seeing that there's a board outside a shop, which has the shop name. But if I see that material, okay, I see that it's made out of metal. So I start thinking what I can make out of. So
Hmm.
similarly, I saw there's a construction going around nearby my house. So every morning I wake up and I see, people mixing concrete and starting to, make the building. So I think what I can make out of this product, if there's a possibility that I can make something which people can put in their home or wear it on their wrist, then why not? I mean, there's no harm in trying. You can only learn from your failures. You're not going to get
Right.
anything if you're always looking for success. So I always try to experiment and use different materials and see how we can make something out of it. It's not that, concrete, there's no basic rule that concrete is supposed to be used to make buildings or to make
Hmm.
roads or to make
Yeah.
XYZ product. Who said you cannot make a clock out of concrete,
Rightly said.
right?
Yeah.
So you always have to look for opportunities that are around you. Okay. And also a lot of stuff, you're reading on internet or you're browsing through internet. So you come across different brands who are doing things differently. So that also inspires you to do something
Hmm.
innovative and something different. So the juice has always come, from my surroundings. I mean, even if I'm talking to you right now, back of my mind, I'm thinking, what is the next different thing that we can, come up with?
Wow, that's awesome.
So,
I think.
yeah. So my friends and family call me a machine, every time I'm thinking about something.
No, I also feel that anyone who is listening, like any budding entrepreneur or any innovator who's listening to the show right now, it's all about being observant about what's going on in your surrounding. And the ideas are, not always come at a time. You just have to be observant. Your mind, just feed yourself with those images, those creative ideas, surround yourself with those things, and probably you never know, like your mind, someday a creative idea may pop up. So definitely I like the way that you surround yourself with this, and how you're very observant. And obviously we will be looking forward to more creative designs from the comic store in the years to come.
Future.
So I just want to take a segue here, and I want to shift our conversation to the method of payment. So I remember you told me how cash on delivery did not work out that well for you. So you told me that out of every 10 people who ordered cash on delivery, 8 of them, they were not genuine buyers. They used to cancel it at the very end moment, and then you were stuck with something because it's a very customized product. So it's you don't have any other buyer for it, so you were stuck with it, and you probably had to you destroy it, or it was like a loss for you. So how did you deal with that situation? How did you iterate the payment method? And how was that process like for you? Like to just understand cash on delivery is not working out for me, and then to just divert from that. Tell me about that, the entire process of finding the perfect mix for the payment option.
Right. So, with regards to cash on delivery, I would say it is one of the safest payment options for the buyer, but one of the riskiest payment options for the seller.
Hmm.
Because,
Right.
say, for example, you get an order for cash on delivery, then, like you said, there's a lot of competition in the market. You've seen something today, you ordered that particular product on a website, but you go home, you start browsing, through the internet, and you find a better product somewhere else.
Hmm.
So you order from that website as well, and you know that it's cash on delivery, so there's no loss for the buyer. If it's coming to you, you can always say that I don't want it, and it goes back to the seller.
Hmm.
So, this competitive market has made cash on delivery a very risky payment option for the sellers. And when I
Hmm.
started my business, I saw everyone doing cash on delivery. So I thought, I will also do cash on delivery. I started doing cash on delivery. All the products were customized, like you said, and we started shipping orders, and people started rejecting without any reason. I mean, I used to call up people personally because when I started, I was the only person running the business.
Hmm.
So I started calling up people that, sir, your order has gone. The courier is saying that you've rejected it. So what is the reason? The person is telling me that, my brother has ordered it by mistake, or I did not order it. I don't know how it, you got the order. So things like that. I don't want it. It's of no use to me. So, that used to annoy me a lot that you're ordering something with someone that's a startup.
Yeah.
You're just killing that startup right away. You're not giving them an opportunity to sustain in the market. And I had over 800 to 900 orders rejected as cash on delivery,
Oh
staying
shit.
with me as dead stock. That moment I decided it's okay if I have to work for someone else and I cannot run a business, but I would never ever do cash on delivery in my life again because this mass audience in this
Hmm.
Indian market who just want to order for fun.
I was actually surprised to know that so many people are actually just ordering for this. Like, I don't know what word I would say use for this, but it's completely disastrous for the seller, and especially for a customized company like yours, spending around 1 month and 2 month on the designing front, and then to find out that the customer has rejected it at the final stage. That is like heartbreaking for a seller.
Right.
Yeah. So I would only say that the customer is not sure whether he actually wants that product or not if he's ordering as cash on delivery. Okay, that's the only term that comes in my mind. Because if he's 100% sure that I need this product and I want to keep it, he would never ever reject it. He's not
Hmm.
sure. He's liked it, he's ordered it, but he's not sure whether that's a necessity for him or not. So only then a person will reject it. Otherwise, if you order something and if you're in need of that product, say you order a medicine online, you need that medicine, you're never ever gonna reject it. But if you're ordering a t-shirt or a jeans or a shoe, when it comes to you, you somehow maybe you don't have funds at that time, or maybe you think, I can get away with this. I don't need it right now. So you can always reject it. And the biggest problem is the loss of the product, the loss of the funds that were used in making that product. And when you send a product with cash on delivery with a courier partner, they charge an extra fee as cash on delivery.
Hmm.
And when it comes back to you, that fee is charged once again. So ultimately, you are paying twice the money to the courier partner, and the product is not delivered end of the day.
Yeah.
So,
Damn.
we've always thought that we don't want to do cash on delivery. So all our orders are prepaid orders. I don't mind getting less orders, but I don't want to, have that risk keeping 1,000, 2,000 products in my office lying as dead stock.
Yeah.
So then, I want to ask one thing here. Since your all product are not on cash on delivery, these all are prepayment. So how the post product service is going working? I mean, if some product goes to customer and if he says that it's not as per my customization, so how the whole replacement thing works? And if after using that product for some months or say for year, whatever the warranty you provide attached with your products, so, since you said your products are very unique in the market, so how the customer can get those things that disturbed in particular product, they will got sorted in
Right.
that thing. Yeah.
So we have a particular time frame for delivery of each and every product. So if the product is not delivered within that time frame, we try and inform the customer that making the product is taking longer. So please bear
Mhm.
with us. Because if you're paying someone upfront, you're always going to nag that person that why is the delivery not coming, why is the
Right,
delivery
right.
not coming. But there are so many frauds happening online. People always think that
Mm-hmm.
this is a fraud website, this is a fraud company, etc., etc.
Yes.
So we try to be as transparent as we can. Even if you see our
Mm-hmm.
social media pages, we have our office videos, we have our workshop videos, we have our office staff images, we have live product images. We also have a
Right.
couple of live sessions which I've done with my followers. We have our office address on the website. We do have people coming in and visiting us to see what are the products that we make. So we try to be as
Mm-hmm.
transparent as we can. And
Right, right.
with regards to the warranty and stuff, once the delivery is done, invoice goes to the customer via email. So, say for example, a
Mm-hmm.
wall clock, it comes with 6 years warranty. So, if there's any problem with the
Oh,
clock within 6 months, they just need to quote their order number to us. We'll see what date the product was delivered and whether the warranty is valid or not. If it's valid, we
okay.
provide a replacement for the faulty item. And say if
Mm-hmm.
in case the product is delivered damaged in transit, it may get damaged.
Mm-hmm.
There's no surety that it will go in one piece. So if it
Right,
gets
right.
damaged, the customer is entitled for a full replacement. But in general, there's no exchange policy on our website. Like I said before, what you might like, the other might not like. So satisfaction is a very
Definitely.
vague term, right?
Right,
So you
right.
cannot say that I'm not satisfied with the product or, I don't
Mm-hmm.
like it now. I don't want it now. If you've
Mm-hmm.
ordered it, you have to accept it because you saw it and you ordered it. But yeah, obviously, if you're seeing something black and you're getting something yellow, then obviously we are going to replace it.
Right, right, right. So, you tell me also that you are basically working on or focusing on corporate tie-ups. So, how that corporate tie-ups working out for you? Also, tell me about some any major winning during last few months, and how do you see this corporate segment as a big opportunity for the comic store?
Right. So, with regards to corporate tie-ups, we were very lucky to get a contract with IBM out of nowhere. I mean, I don't know how they got to know about us. So we got this opportunity. They have this new office coming up in Kolkata, and we had an opportunity to design a wall for them in their office.
Great.
So that is one of the big names that we've worked with. We've also worked
Mm-hmm.
with United Works India. Many people would not know about that company, but we got a corporate order for Christmas from them, and we had to supply them 800 wall clocks for their
Oh
employees
my
and
God.
partners. And so that is one of the corporate orders that we got. And yeah, corporate gifting is something we are always trying to tap into, and we're trying
Mm-hmm.
to bring in products that people would like to gift it as a corporate gift. To be honest, we also get a lot of inquiries from directors of big companies, of things they want to keep it inside their chamber or a cabin, because
Right, right.
we have a lot of designs in world maps and world clocks. So those are the kind of stuff that you would like to keep in your office. So yeah, a lot of big companies have contacted us for, suggesting products for directors cabin and reception area and stuff. So we're trying to work into that slowly and
Mm-hmm.
steadily. We are also trying to move into little bit of interior designing, get in touch with interior designers, architectures,
Mm-hmm.
and see how we can give them something new, give them something fresh, which they can install it at their client's place.
Great.
Uh, Also, something that I want to get your take on is why have you not partnered with retail giants like Amazon and Flipkart? Because I'm sure that a lot of home decoration is sold through Amazon, and it's a very good way of growing your numbers and your sales numbers. So, what was the reason? Was it because of your business model, which takes around 1 or 2 months to deliver the product to the customer? And did the unit economics not work out for you? What was the logic behind not going with giants like Amazon and Flipkart?
So, obviously, we have been approached by Amazon and Flipkart to sell our products on their portals because even their team is, looking for sellers who have creative products and who they want to showcase on their portal. But like I said, brand identity is very important for me. The reason why we don't sell on those portals is you order something from them, say you ordered a wall clock of comic store from Flipkart. The packaging that is going to come to you, the box is going to be of Flipkart. Even the sellotape that is put up on the box is going to be of Flipkart. The person who's coming to deliver is also going to be a member of the Flipkart family. So where is the brand identity? I mean, I don't see a brand identity there because if someone will ask you that, Siddharth or Gaurav, where did you buy this product from? You're always going to say, I got it from Flipkart. You're never going to say that I got it from a comic store. So that is very important for me. I want people to know me by my brand name and not, by any other brand. I don't want to give that opportunity to someone else to be famous because of me. I want to be famous on my own foot. So that is the reason we don't sell on those portals. It's something I want people to come to my website and remember my name, and always suggest, if this is the kind of product you're going to put it up on your home, and if someone's coming, definitely they are going to ask you where you get this product from. And you can always say that I got it from this place. You don't need to say that I got it from Flipkart or I got it from Amazon. I don't want people to remember the brand's name wherein I've put in the hard work and soul in making that product. So that is the reason we don't sell on those portals.
That is a very bold choice, definitely. Like just the logic of building your brand from the ground up and not relying on retail giants, because I think people get it's a very tempting platform, isn't it? Like Amazon, Flipkart, to just get that
Yeah.
sales growth, people given to the temptation and they will switch to that platform. But I think sticking with your own brand in the long run, that's a very good strategy to have. And, kudos to you for sticking to that.
And more than that, I would say, Siddharth, these brands are very dominating. They have their own terms and they want to stick by those terms. And
Hmm.
I don't want someone else to dictate my business or
Hmm.
my logistics. I'm very ethical in that way. I don't want someone else to, and more than that, especially with this Make in India campaign, Flipkart, maybe it's an Indian company, but it has foreign direct investment in their company. So it's not
Yeah.
totally Indian. Amazon is from USA, it's not Indian. I want people from India to start their own brand and, be known by their brand name. And always, I see people always going for money. If I sell on Flipkart, I'm going to get these number of orders. But ultimately, you're going to be dominated by them. I have friends who sell on Amazon, who sell on Flipkart, and I have horrible feedbacks from them about those things.
Yeah, they get
The way they
exploited.
dominate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's the term. You get exploited by those brands because they are big in nature
Right,
and
right.
they have that grip on you that they are going to dictate their own terms on you. So I would also like to tell budding entrepreneurs that always stick to your brand. Don't go for money. Money is ultimately going to come to you if you're working hard day and night, and if you believe in your brand, the success is going to come to you. But always stick with your brand. Don't try to sell it to other people. Please don't do that.
Great. I mean, Chintan, really kudos to you. I mean, you just changed my perception for brand, completely changed my perception for brand awareness. The sense of portraying the brand of yours is very different and unique. Coming to the next question, I want to wrap this episode. Mostly, this is the last question of this episode. So, I'm wrapping this episode by asking you, why the comic store? So, what is the story behind this name, Chintan?
Right. So obviously, when I was going to start this business during the lockdown, I had discussions with a lot of people within my family circle, within my friends,
Mm-hmm.
because always, when you're going to start something, you want to get opinions of your friends and family and see what they think about it.
Right,
That's
right.
how things work. No matter how confident you are about your project, you always want a second opinion about it. So
Definitely.
when I, showed a few designs and the kind of things that we want to do, I'm sorry to say, but people made fun out of us. They used to think that this is not possible and you are crazy, you're not ever going to do it, you're just doing it because there's nothing else to do. You've gone mad during lockdown, you don't have any idea what you're going to do. And people used to make fun, and that actually inspired me. I believed in the brand and I wanted to do it. So I
Right,
thought,
right,
people are being comical here, so why not put up a store name that relates to that?
right.
Wow.
But thanks to God and thanks to people, we've been very successful in this. I never thought that we could achieve the numbers that we have done and we are doing right now. And more than the numbers, I believe, people knowing about our brand, especially like you guys. I mean, I don't know how you came across our brand, but it feels very good and really proud of the team as well who put in their heart and soul and working day and night to bring up this
So,
business.
so we are gonna become like selfless promoters of the comic store from now on, because that's what we do with every entrepreneur that we interview. So this is like, we don't, there's nothing, no monetary benefit from doing this podcast for us. So we don't charge anything.
Right.
and we promote our entrepreneurs. The only reason why we're doing is because we want to explore different businesses, what's happening in the Indian landscape. And we constantly search on LinkedIn, Instagram, and whenever we come through a business which is truly remarkable like yours. So we do believe that we want to explore because we also get to talk to the founder, right? That's a very good learning experience for us. So talking to you as
Right.
well, we've learned a lot. We've added so many, like, I had no idea about designing. I did not know that you could make something out of concrete and also make it appealing to the end customer at the same time. So that's the reason why we do it, to meet new amazing people. And Chintan, I had a great time talking to you. I think Gaurav also would be
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
same page,
yeah, of
that
course.
we just had an amazing time. The best part about you is just the laid back personality. Like, I think you have answers to everything. So it was
Thank you, guys.
amazing.
But I would also like to say that, I appreciate that you have this selflessness within you, that you want to do something for others and not thinking about the monetary part. Because I have been approached by a lot of magazines, a lot of people to do an interview or, showcase a brand on their magazines, but it's always a monetary thing that is related to that.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
really grateful that we are doing this without any monetary benefit and to promote startups and small businesses. I'm really thankful for that. That there are people like you in this country who do that. Obviously, it's a great platform to let people know about kind of struggles that people go through in, because when you see a brand, let's say for example, maybe us, we have 50,000 followers and a good number of orders. So people always think that this has been very easy for them, but it's never easy in business. Every day something or the other comes up. So I'm really grateful and thankful to you guys for giving us this opportunity and doing this. I've obviously gone through a lot of podcasts that you've done before, and I really appreciate that you're doing this out of selflessness.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you so
Chintan.
much, Chintan.
And
Yeah.
Thank you,
you
guys.
know just for the monetary part, like, probably, like, if anyone's listening to this episode, and if you want to buy something from the comic store, you can reach out to us, or you can just check out their website. We can probably work on a, like, I don't know if it's possible at this point, but on a what discount code or something through Vyapar. And like, if someone wants to order through us, or you can just, like, we don't care about the money or anything, but you can just check their website out. So I'll keep everything in the description, the links to the website, to the Instagram page. Also, like, I'll connect everything. I'll also put some pictures for you to look at, because believe me, the
Mhm.
comic store is right at the top when it comes at the designing game. So do
Yeah.
check their website out. If you want to order something, this is one of the best places
Yeah,
for
and
you.
just yeah, just adding to that, even if you don't want to order, come visit our profile and maybe you can get inspired and start something on your own. You
Right.
never know.
Rightly said.
Definitely. Chintan, again, thank you for coming on the show. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure.
guys. Same here, same here. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Have
you,
a good day.
Chintan.
All right. That does it for today's edition of Vyapar. I'll keep all links in the description. Check out Chintan's website, the comic store. It's doing amazing stuff. And also, shout out to Gaurav for finally doing a co-hosting session with me. I've been reaching out to him for a long time, and I'm really happy that we could make this work out. So cheers to you, Gaurav, for making it. If you're listening to this and if you feel a bit of sleepiness in our voices, it's because it's a very early morning show that we've done. So again, thank you for listening. Let us know if you're a budding entrepreneur, and if you want us to cover your business, you can reach out to us at the Vyapar podcast at gmail.com. Take care, and we'll see you next week.